Hey everyone, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Mother's Day Gatefold card. I have all of my pieces cut out, as should you, and this one does feature a little print to cut and a kind of a sort of a different take on a 3D flower. So I'll show you how that all works here in just a moment. But before we get to that, let's take a look at our card base. Obviously, it's a gatefold. And we did this one with solid score lines, just so that the edge of the card looks nice and crisp. Okay, and I've already pre-folded everything, so that's ready to go. And what we're going to do, we're going to start off by putting, actually, I'm going to hit this with my little, it's basically like a little bone folder, just to flatten this out a little bit more. Okay. We'll start with the front. Now we've got some panel pieces here, and although these look similar, they're not quite. You'll notice that on one of them, there's a little letter F on this, right about here, okay? That one is gonna go on the left-hand side here, and on the card base, you'll also notice that there are some markers in the corner here. These panels are gonna get glued like so. So we're going to have a border on the top, left, and bottom, but not on this side. This pattern is actually going to go all the way out to the very edge of this little gatefold. Okay, so the one with the F goes on the left. So let's start off by doing that. Make sure you get the right one on the left-hand side, because we've got some additional little markers on there to help you align the little element that's going to go on top of that. Okay, so let's just make sure we get that right. Okay, and as we put this down, again, use those little markers there to help you with the positioning. And I'm kind of using my finger to kind of feel and make sure that this is all nice and flush with the inside of the card itself. Okay, just like that, press that down into place. So it should look like that. Okay, let me find my other one here. This one's going to go on the other side. Same thing, use the little markers there. Try to maintain the same width border all the way around. So let's get this glued down. This should be a pretty quick card to put together. I already did my print to cut portion. If you are not familiar with how to use print then cut with your Cricut, I recently did a YouTube live that kind of went over that process. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so again, using those little guides and also making sure that it's nice and flush with the center of the little gatefold part, the little door. Okay, and there we go. That looks nice. Okay, now I'm going to open this up and we're going to put the panels on the inside real quick. Okay, so we have these pink panels that are going to go in here. And this one here actually is going to get glued center. And there's going to be an even border all the way around. Okay, and technically, these little markers that we used on the other side, you can use those to help us with the alignment on this side as well, because this piece is not as wide. And you can actually do that. So let's get our glue going on this piece here. Working a little bit of glue out to the perimeter as well. And as I mentioned, there's that little marker. It's kind of faint on this side, but you should still be able to see it. Okay, get that in place. Just like that. And I'm going to do the other side as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the other one in place as well. If you have a pattern on yours, just make sure that you have your pattern in the correct orientation. Make sure that it's not upside down. If it's one of those patterns that doesn't really matter if you have it upside down, then that's fine, but just be cautious of that and be aware. Okay, let's get this one in here as well. And like I said, those little markers, although faint, you should be able to see them and use them to your advantage. So we'll press that down into place. Okay, beautiful. And then we're going to take our little print to cut portion, okay, and I actually need to hit this with a little bit of ink, and I actually did this exact thing during a recent live video. Now you can see it's white going on white, which kind of looks kind of boring. It's getting lost a little bit. So if I take a little bit of purple, just a color to kind of match whatever color you're actually printing this out with. In my case, we've got like a purple color on there. I'm gonna grab just a little bit of purple ink and just ink the perimeter of this so that it'll still be white on white, but there'll be a little bit of contrast at the very edge of this so that it pops a little bit more and doesn't get lost. Now again, check us out on YouTube. Just go to the Dreaming Tree YouTube page and look at our live streams. I recently did a little thing where I took basically an insert like this, and I also added a little poem. It was actually for Easter, but you could do the same thing for Mother's Day. If you don't want to do a poem, you could write your little message with your software, your Design Space, or whatever it is that you're using, and have your machine print it instead of writing. I know I've done this many times where I start to write inside of a card, and well, I guess I just don't write as much as I used to, and my writing is really gone to, I don't know, gone by the wayside. All right, so we're gonna glue this down. You can see now that it's actually kind of standing out a little bit more. We're gonna make sure that when we glue this down, it's nice and aligned with the panels at the bottom. And then we can take the two little corner pieces and get those in place. But let's get this down first. Yeah, I'm aiming at maybe getting this done in about, I think it should be a 20-minute card, maybe even less. Not including the cutting, obviously, but nevertheless. All right, so again, as I mentioned, let's pop this down. Use the panels that are already there on the left and right to help you get that aligned. Make sure it's centered. You should have an even border on the left side and right side. Do your best to get that as accurate as you can. There we go. That looks great. Press that down. Okay, and then we have these little pieces here to kind of fill this in. And we want to take these and align these with the very top as well. And it doesn't matter which direction or which side you put these on. These are symmetrical pieces. They'll work on either side. Okay, so you could put them here or here, doesn't matter. Okay, and pop that down. Again, making sure that you keep it nice and aligned with these panels here, like that. That looks good. And also, obviously, you want to keep it flush with the side of this section here. Okay, and then really all that's left to do is put together the little floral element, which is very simple as well. Quick card. Probably take less time to make one of these than it would to go to the store and buy one. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go on like that. That looks pretty good. I'm going to move this just a tiny bit to the left. Okay, there we go. All right, beautiful. So that's the inside. And we'll flatten this out a little bit and begin working on the actual flower. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this is like a pearlescent color, and you'll notice that we do have some markers on this. There's 3 little markers in the center, and then there's one that kind of looks like an L, like an upside down L. You want that towards the bottom. Okay, that's going to be the stem for our flower. Okay, so 3 little, they almost look like upside down U's right here towards the center, and then almost like little L's here on the bottom. So this would be the bottom part. But let's get that glued down first. Let's get that glue flowing. We'll get that glued down. And then we can start putting the flower together. Very simple, just some paper piecing, and we're taking it and adding a few little foam squares to give it some dimension. You could technically glue it down flat if you'd like, but I don't think using a couple foam squares will hurt. It'll look nice and super dimensional. Okay, there we go. Press that down, nice and flat. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to start off with these 2 pieces here. Okay, so these are like the largest pieces. These are all the pieces for the flower. I have them kind of separated into sections. And here is the first layer. We're going to take this layer and glue it right on top of this flat. You can see that I ran that through an embossing machine just to give it a little bit of texture. You can do that if you'd like. And I've also inked all of these as well with colors that obviously work. And what I mean by that is, well, I've got this lavender or purplish color. So I took a little bit of a darker purple and just hit the very edges of it. So we're going to glue that down flat onto the other piece. And this is actually going to get glued down flat onto this. Now these little upside down U's, those are actually going to fit into these little gaps here. This one here is going to go here. This one here goes here. This one here goes here. And it's going to be at an angle like this. Okay, so that is, you can see those little markers there. That's how we want to glue that down. And that's going down flat. So let's get our glue going on this guy. Okay. And again, just match it up with the little markers there. Make sure you're getting it in the right spot. There we go. That's nice. The rest of it should be a breeze. Okay, now once we have the flower actually built, you'll notice that there's some markers here as well. Right about here, this little guy here is going to actually squeeze right into where those markers are. And the edge of this side of the card should be center, right down the middle of this thing. So I'm going to open this up and just kind of give you an idea of what this needs to look like. It's going to go down like that, and again, making sure that we keep that centered. So we could technically glue this down now, and we may as well. Okay, so we're only putting glue on half of this. So remember, it's this half. We'll flip it over, just draw, and there actually is a little line here. There's some score marks to help you keep your glue in the right spot. Okay, so just keep your glue to the right of those little markers. Hopefully I'm putting it on the right side. I think I am. Okay, just throw a little glue on there. Yep, that was right. And I'm gonna actually do this so that I don't accidentally get a bunch of glue where I don't need it. Again, find those little markers there. Pardon my head here for a second. I just don't want to goof this up because this is going on the website. And then again, just kind of make sure that this is nice and centered right at the edge of the card. There we go, press that down. And just like that. Okay, it's almost like those old, like I think they were like Victorian little, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. I'm losing my train of thought here, but that's okay. All right, so we've got that. Next, we're going to take these two pieces. These are kind of like middle-sized pieces, okay? And you can see where they connect because this bottom part here is the same for both of these. And we want this piece that's kind of sticking out a little bit behind this smaller piece. Okay, so let's take some glue and put it on this section here. Just like that. And we're going to glue that down flat onto this piece. Just match it up. Now I did ink parts of this that I didn't need to really ink because it's going to be covered up, but that's okay. Got a little extra practice inking, and that's never a bad thing. Okay, so this now, I'm going to find my little foam squares. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add a few little foam squares, mostly on the perimeters. I'll flip it over, give it a little push, make sure it's nice and sturdy. If you don't add enough foam squares and you give it a push and it kind of bends in, it means you probably need to add another one in that place where you find that it's kind of sagging a bit. Okay, so now we're going to match this up with the existing shadow there. Just like that. Okay, so you can see that beautiful dimension that we're starting to build there. And then we've got this last section. Okay, now these petals here have been present throughout, and all we want to do is just reveal this section. So the smaller piece is going to go on top of this piece here, like so, and then we're going to use some foam squares again to apply that to the existing flower that's already on our card and give that a little bit of a lift. All right, so let's line that up. Make sure that you got it nice and matched up. Press that down. And I'm going to pop a foam square there, one there, and maybe one there. That should do it. That's plenty. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take this and just like before, just match that up with the previous shadow layer there that's already there. And there we have it. Beautiful dimensional little flower. And now the stem and the leaves. Got 2 layers there. The green going on top of the purple. And we do have some cutouts on here, so be careful. And I would just use a series of little dots around all these little details. And if you do happen to overdo it with the glue, just take your finger and just kind of spread it thin, dab it a little bit, thin out that glue. But I think I did a pretty good job there. And we just want to match that up with the little shadow, the purple shadow portion of the leaves and the stem. I also ran that through an embossing machine. Give it a little bit of texture. Okay, now this also needs to be foam squared. So I think one on each little leaf would be good. And I'm wondering, would that be enough? I think so. You know, that's such a small little area there. You could technically, if you want to, just grab some scissors and you could technically just cut a very small little foam square. There's a tiny, tiny little foam square just to put on that stem so it doesn't get ripped or torn or bent. And we'll pull this off. And we do have little markers for you right here, those little L's that I was telling you about earlier. And that is going to go, yeah, so the marker down here is actually right here at the bottom of the stem. And then that one with the 2 little L's is like the center of this guy here. And there you have it. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to take and add a couple pearls here just to spice it up a little bit. But that is the card. Beautiful card. And what I'm going to do next is actually put the envelope together, because we always include an envelope with any of the cards that we put out. So I've got the actual envelope here. I've already folded the sides in, and that is, so you're going to fold these 2 in and then fold this on top. Okay, and we can throw a little bit of glue right along the very edge here, along the inside. Just very easy on the glue there. Don't do a lot. Don't want to warp it. Just like that. And then take this and fold it up, press down. And what we really like to do with our cards is add sort of a 2-tone thing to the flap. So we've got this piece here, and this is actually going to stick out a little bit. So we're going to pop this in here, and you'll notice that it kind of just stands out just a little bit to give it a nice thin little border. Okay, so what we're going to do, since it does stick out, you can actually just take and apply the glue to this part of the flap. All right, so let's go ahead and apply our glue to the inside part of the flap of the envelope. Try to get it out to the edge as far as you can. Okay, and then we'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then try to get a few little dots within the little detail areas of the flower. That should do it. Then we'll take our little piece here, get it nice and centered, push it up against the little the score mark there, or the fold. And as I'm kind of pushing this with my thumbs, I'm going to take and just grab that and press it down. Okay, just like that. And continue pushing that down. Hopefully we got enough glue in this little area here. I think we did. Just keep on pressing that down. Okay. There we go. Okay, while we have that flat, we also have this little part here. It's going to go like this, just to finish it off. And pretty much done with the card here. Like I mentioned, I'm going to take it and just jazz up the card itself with a few little embellishments. Yeah, I think just, what am I doing here? Yeah, some pink pearls, I think. I think that's all I'm going to do. Okay, just pop that in there. You do have some little markers to help you with the positioning of the little leaf portion of our flower. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, and let's see, that'll fit right in there beautifully. I don't want to put it in there just yet because I'm afraid that, well, whatever, let's just do it. Just want to show you that it works. There you go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Like I mentioned, let me see if there's anything else that I'm forgetting. I don't think there is. Now we're just going to put a few little pearls here on each of the 4 sides, and that's it. Very simple, elegant card. Now, obviously, if you omit the Happy Mother's Day caption inside, you can certainly use this for other occasions, maybe a sympathy card, whatever it may be. But yeah, a quick one, very easy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please take a moment and visit our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new video, especially if we go live. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or if you want, you can just type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So happy Mother's Day to all of our lovely moms, or again, if this is for another occasion, then hopefully it's a happy one. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.